a lot harder than it should be.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it looks
Damon,
like we have,
Les, Rebecca, and me. Greg.
Alrighty.
Now, how do we share documents and actually look at stuff?
I think we can just do that in the Google Drive if we just want to hop on and off. You can screen share. On the left-hand side, you should have icons. The second one is a green box with an arrow on it.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
That's a screen share.
Okay.
Also, if you go down to where all of our pictures are and everything,
Yeah.
your little icon, you can say present to everyone.
Gotcha.
So can we create a group so next time it's not so hard to get everybody on?
Yeah, I think that this Google Hangout, now that it's a on-air one,
Yep.
it should be as easy as clicking on the other link to our other established Hangout.
Yeah, now that it's established.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holly just
Yeah, I have
is
that.
saying,
I have them messaging me, so I'm chatting with them.
yeah, I'm on my, because I can't be in both at the same time. I have one on my phone and
That's
the
me
one on the
too.
computer. That's the only way to get around it, because I was logged in all ready to go with the on-air, and I logged out of the UVU, and it won't let me log back in.
Well, I think I'm logged in at my Gmail, and we're just going to tell the instructor that
Yeah,
there's pickup,
it's,
and
yeah,
we just got to do what we got to do. If the tool that he wants us to use is this one, then we've got to find a way to actually get it done.
so we're recording now, huh? Because it says live on the upper right.
Yep, we are.
Do we need to be?
Um,
I don't know. I'm just saying because we're still not even connected yet. But
Well, the only reason I would say yes, let's cover our bases is because our first meeting only had like 3.5 minutes worth of recording.
exactly.
Too much? I think that we're good.
Okay.
Oh, I can see you now.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, there's 4 of us.
And I just sent them new
Okay.
invitations to UIDs.
Okay. You got Angie's number.
Yep, I got Angie's and Holly's.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect.
Technology is so awesome.
When it works.
Yeah, when it works.
Hey, I'm in.
Oh, looks like Angie's on.
Hey.
How to get it
Hi, Angela.
Hi. I can't figure out how to get on my computer instead of on my phone.
I can barely hear you, Angela.
I said I can't figure out how to do it on my computer instead of my phone. So I'm in my UV Mail Gmail account. Where do I see the call on there?
Go
So
up.
go into the Google Plus, right?
Yeah. Just go up to the upper right where you see all the boxes, like the Google Apps, and choose the Hangouts again. Well, there's Holly.
Hey, okay, there you go.
Looks like we're all in here now. Woohoo!
All right, I would love for this meeting to be a quick just recap and get down to business. If everyone is on board with that, I'd love to just kind of jump right in now that everybody's on.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sounds great.
All right, if everyone pulls up their Google Drive, I put in there our weekly meeting, the meeting objective and the agenda items. So we want to just jump on to the first agenda item, that's the reviewing the team contract and sign off. I added another one today. It's our second bullet point that is actually choosing a project manager for the project. But let's do the team contract and sign off, and if we could throw the charter on at the same time.
Yeah, sounds good to
So
me.
Whoever
Well-
had team contract, if I can turn time over to you.
Yeah, I did the team contract, but I did it very generic because I didn't know exactly what we wanted involved in there. And so I uploaded that. Can you guys all see that? Didn't know if you guys wanted to add anything specific to the project.
Let's see.
Trying to get in 'cause I don't-
Which directory is that in under the group directory?
it should- I haven't pulled it up because I was trying to figure out the. Okay. Let me hurry and pull it up.
Team contract. Is that what we're looking at right now?
Yeah.
Team contract.
All right.
See it? I haven't got in there.
Yeah, I looked at it earlier.
Yeah, which directory is that in?
I'm looking at the one on Canvas, but that one's blank.
Yeah.
So that can't be it.
Yeah, so it has to, you have to re-upload it into the Google Drive.
Okay, let me find it again.
Let me see, I'm gonna add my stuff too.
And I'm, whoever did the charter, I'm making a copy that's actually just a Google Sheet rather than the Word doc that's there, so that everyone can just see it as a sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
After all
okay.
the
So, so Rebecca, you're boots on the ground over there. This is kind of your idea. My thought was just to name you as our project manager for this because you've got the main contacts over there. Everybody else okay with that?
Yeah,
I'm okay with
that's a
that.
good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me add this as
Which-
a sheet.
So Rebecca, I've got a question about so our group sponsor over there, looking at the Ohio website there, is there any way to make sure that we're not double contacting individuals?
That's one of the items that I have on my list. I had a meeting on Sunday with about 10 different stakeholders, and there are 2 different chambers of commerce that someone else is taking care of, so we can take those off of our plate, but pretty much everything else is on an individual basis. So our initial contact should be when we actually make those calls, have you heard about Feed Ohio? Would you like to be involved? So if they say, oh yeah, we've heard about it, we're already doing this, then that can be the end. You know, thank you so much. We appreciate participation. And that's the end of the phone call. Versus, would you like some help or anything like that?
Okay. All right. And then once we initially make contact and they said that they would love to, then we need to add them to our contact folder that you have on Canvas.
I would do everything in Google Drive and only move it to Canvas when we turn it in. That way we have one resource. We're not double dipping. We don't have to upload into 2 different locations. If we just keep it in one location, and then Canvas is when we're ready to turn in.
Okay. So I just typed in a web address that I found while just looking around. I don't know if whoever's doing businesses, it's kind of up that alley. Maybe just click on it and see if it works for you. But I figured I'm going to start with the trade schools, tech schools and trade schools, because I kind of figure any 4-year schools or universities are probably already involved.
Okay, and just a heads up on schools. Most elementary schools here in Ohio have a Cub Scout program within them. So if you're contacting elementary schools, rather than go through the school, or as an alternative to going through the school if you so choose, you could say, you know, do you have a Cub Scout program? We're looking to get some help out with the Feed Ohio efforts.
Okay. All right. And so on some of these larger schools, the tech schools and stuff, they're probably going to need like a pallet with a box, right?
I would kind of leave it up to them how they want to handle it. a lot of them will just have people bring in like grocery bags and just pile them up in the entryway, and then we just go by with pickup truck and pick them up.
Okay.
Some of them, if they want to get something, we can pick up, you know, the dollar laundry baskets at the dollar store and leave those there. That's one of the things that I've seen mostly in like business foyers and church foyers and that sort of thing.
Okay. Let's see. And I did look at your map there. Is there I see that there's lines. You got pink and green lines. Is it done that way on purpose? Is it districted it up?
It's subsets. So that's actually off of a church website. And so the pink lines, I have representatives in most of those pink lines that are working on some things, but they're going mostly door to door and within the LDS church. And so we can just kind of count those out. We're not going to go door to door. That's really not what this project is all about. And
No.
so they're working on door-to-door stuff, and they're working on the LDS church, so we can just count them out and just go other faith-based organizations.
Other faith-based. Okay, that was my question I had, is which faith-based I go after.
Yep, and with the exception, the two chambers of commerce that have already been taken care of are the Polaris Area Chamber of Commerce and the Lewis Center Chamber of Commerce. We have somebody who has connections in both of those, and he's going to run with it, so we can just cross those right off on our list and call it good.
Okay, so as long as we stay within that green boundaries, you've got the resources to pick up food within those green boundaries, correct?
I sure do.
Okay, and then is there anything to these circles with crosses in them and circles without?
Those are just resources. So those are where I have resources across the area.
Where did you post this map, Rebecca?
It's in the Google Drive. So if you just go to our...
It's a Word document with a screen capture.
So the other question I have is, as far as like pickup, drop-off times, is there preferred days or hours?
Saturdays are best for pickup, and then we'll arrange to drop off at food pantries when they're ready to receive. And that's just based on when we can pick up. So if we have a pickup on Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning, then if we are notified of that, then we can schedule to drop off at the food pantry the same day. However, if the pickup isn't until 5 p.m., the food pantries usually close early on Saturdays, so we'd have to drop it off on Monday.
All right, and has anybody had a chance to look at that rough schedule that I put up?
It's in a different format, and so I hadn't downloaded the project to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these are on formats I can't open.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, they're on the Microsoft project format, right, Damon?
Yeah. Yes, they are.
I
And
don't have on this machine, so I'll get that. And if you and I want to get together, maybe offline between this meeting and next meeting, I can work with you on that as far as scheduling goes.
all right.
And then I'd be more than happy to reach out to, especially people who are contacting businesses, and make sure that they're comfortable with their schedule, because essentially it's your work, and you need to have a say in what that timeline looks like.
Yeah. Yep. And Greg, I thought I sent you the link to where I got the trial version.
You did. I haven't had a chance to set that up yet because I was out of town this whole weekend.
And did I forward that off to everybody else too?
I didn't see one.
I think you can go. Damon, is the version of project you're working with, is that just the online copy only?
No.
Because I did a search for Microsoft Project, and the only trial version was one that you had to log into online, and that was the only place you're able to access your projects.
Yeah, through that 365 that the school provides. Okay, no, I didn't. It took me a little bit to find it.
Okay.
And that link that I sent you, create a new login.
Okay.
Don't use your school login. Create a new profile.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to download it. I've talked to the instructor. He's talking with our tech department to get that worked out, because we're supposed to have access to that. I've gone to our download site, and that we just need permission from somebody, and I've talked to the tech department, and it's got to be worked out between our instructor and that department, and because we're supposed to have access to download that. Same with Microsoft Office. You don't have to use that 365. If you go to our student download area, you can get Microsoft Office for free and download all of the apps.
Hey, I was just successful downloading, so I'm going to send this link to everybody. You use your same password as your UVU, but 365 is working for me, and it will let me download projects, so I'll send it out to everyone either during or right after this meeting. All right, let's plug right along. We have, let's see, next on the list, let's go back to the charter and the contract.
Can I have everybody's, I'm not sure how to share this, besides sharing it with each individual. How do I share it? Do I just type it?
Angela, if you just want to send it to me, I can put it up on the drive, and then I can go over how we put it up there. UVID address? I'm sorry, it's really hard to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is your UVID address, or do you want me to share it some other way?
You could just type it into the chat.
Yeah. Well, my chat is not actually being very good.
I just put it up on the chat. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Okay, so that link is the link that I was talking about.
Okay.
So if you go there, your login is slightly different than your UVU login. Your UVU ID, and then it's at A like Apple, D like David, .uvu.edu.
At A, D.
I'm going to paste mine in there so that you can see what it looks like.
All right. Add, okay.
And then that link will get you into download it. If you can't get into it because it has a referral link or whatever, I think it'll work just fine the way it is. However, if it doesn't, then just go, what I did was I Googled UVU Office 365, and it brought me to that page, and then let me log in and let me download.
Oh. How'd you know to do the at 80.uvu?
Because it told me to.
Yeah, yeah. Once you click on it, it will walk you through it.
Okay.
So let's see. So the charter should be pretty much complete. The only thing that was left on that was just assigning who was the project manager, correct?
The charter, let me pull it up.
That was Holly that was doing that?
Yeah. He's posted an official template online that I'm just transferring our information over from the first one we've done.
Perfect.
I couldn't get it to post in Drive, so I put it under our files for you guys to take a look at.
Have you already transferred all the info to it?
The majority of it.
Okay. Yeah, once that's done, because that's kind of a formality, it's basically copy and paste and getting that over there, right?
Yeah, and I will post the final template when I get it all put together, let you guys take a look at it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be much to that one, and we should be able to just get that turned in. Can we get that turned in before Saturday?
Yeah, I will get that turned in.
Okay. And we need to designate an individual that's going to be responsible for uploading our project documents to there, so we're not getting confused on like this last Saturday. It kind of seemed like we were pushing the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got that turned in on Friday. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, awesome. All right.
Yeah, it was turned in Friday. I figured they'll let you modify it if you need to modify it, and so I just posted it on Friday, and then it was Friday evening after everybody had had some say-so in it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the agenda.
Yeah, and I'm pasting the charter in right now so that we actually have it in the directory.
Okay.
I see that you also uploaded an example summary report. That looks really nice. Keep that template. Everybody see that?
On which one?
On the Google Drive.
Example summary.
Yep. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
I see that. I actually requested that so we could set our goals realistically and know how to actually measure success on the project.
Yeah, that looks really well.
So I'm starting. I've already created another project one. I already uploaded it to the drive. It's called Group 1 Project Goals, but we can get there once we get that point in the agenda.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right, let's plug right along.
Okay.
Project organizational structure was kind of choosing the project management. So discussion of accomplishments. We'll start off just to bring everyone up to speed on what I got done on Sunday. So I have about a dozen people across the Northwest region who are willing to not just help out, but also kind of be key points in their respective areas. So that way, when it comes time to pick things up, I'm not the only one driving around and picking them up, but rather we have some resources at our disposal.
Perfect.
Okay.
Individuals are online, and they then I took the bags, the Kroger paper bags that Kroger donated to us, dropped those off to them, and so we distributed on Sunday. I distributed about 4,000 bags, and then yesterday I did another 1,600.
Wow.
So we have about 5,600 bags distributed across the Northwest region, and about 10 contact people for pickups. So that's the accomplishment on my side, and then I told you about the Polaris and Lewis Center Chambers of Commerce that we can just cross off our list.
Okay.
And I already contacted Columbus Chamber of Commerce and Marysville and Dublin. They don't send out lists of their businesses, but they did show me where online you can find those lists. And so we can just go through, me and Holly can go through those alphabetically and contact those businesses. They said that they would print one off if I wanted to stop in and pick it up. So I found where to contact those businesses and found their lists on their website. They showed me where to find those. And that was for Columbus, Marysville, and Dublin.
All right. Now, one of the things that I would recommend on those business lists is they'll likely be too large for us to contact every single business on the list.
There is a ton on there.
Yep. So what I would do is I would try to pick the larger ones. So like in the Dublin area, Cardinal Health is huge. IGS is very large. I would stick with some of the larger organizations, and then based on responses from them, kind of drill down into the smaller ones. Google's going to be your best friend in that regard as far as just grab the company name and Google anything you can about the company. If it looks like a mom and pop shop, it probably is. Dublin has a ton of small businesses, but I think if we start with the large enterprise type businesses, maybe even some of the hospitals and those sort of things that exist in the area, that way we can get more bang for our buck, and you're not making a phone call for a single bag of food, but rather a phone call to an entire organization that's going to have every employee bring in a bag of food.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic, because some of them that I called, a lot of them were like small businesses where there was like only one person there, and they're like, well, can you call back when the manager's in? So I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be difficult. I haven't really been able to make contact to an actual manager, so I had thought about going through and looking for the larger businesses, so that's a great idea.
Anyone else for accomplishment discussion? I think we're just diving into this, so I don't expect everyone, hey, look what I've done, especially because we have the holiday weekend. That's kind of
yeah.
And what other cities was I supposed to contact for lists? I just had Columbus, Marysville, Dublin, and then Polaris Lewis. Did you go into other ones?
Delaware.
Delaware.
Delaware will probably have one. Everything west of Dublin is going to be pretty small. So Plain City, Milford Center, all of that area is going to be rather small. It's kind of farm country. So think of Hold, Utah, and Salt Lake counties, so that Sandy hits Santaquin, and that's about the Columbus metro area. So it goes from very, very densely populated to country very, very quickly.
Mm.
All right. Anyone else for accomplishments? All right. Now, timeline. Damon, was that you?
Yep. Let me pull up my file here. So I've got it's a pretty basic Gantt chart created here. I had us basically ending for executing from 9/6 to 10/12. Execution needs to be complete on 10/12 is what I had, and then the rest of the time is set up for closing documents and stuff, and going over how we did. So let's see. I had it broken down for executing deliverables. I just call it deliverable 1, deliverable 2, and deliverable 3. So, and D1, that's basically everybody contacting everybody, getting everything set up. And then D2, it's all the pickup activities. So once you guys get the project downloaded, you'll be able to see that a little more clearer.
Yeah, I was
of what
able
I've
to log
done.
in.
I've assigned resources to each activity in there, and once everybody can get it open and start looking at it, we can adjust as we need to. But as far as full pickups go, I have us ending about 10/12. That, and then all of us need to do our own closing documents.
Yep. And I would, for instance, I'm on the project charter right now. On our documentation, I would probably extend our finish date out to the 15th of October, just because our execution is going to end about the 30th of September. If we need to extend pickups, we can do that, of course. But part of the project is the summation and those metrics that we're going to be evaluating after it's done. So the actual project that is included goes through part of October. I also think it will look better as we turn things in, even though we're going to be putting in more time. The density is going to be heavier through September than other groups because of the nature of the project. We also don't want to say, hey, we picked a tiny project, because this isn't a tiny project. It's just condensed into a more condensed timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so also when you guys open that up, I did real milestones, and then I did artificial milestones, meaning our class, what we have to have turned in for our project. So like a progress report needs to be turned in on 9/24 of 16, just showing how we're doing, how many contacts we've had and stuff like that. Now, who is Greg? You were doing. I have you down as doing monitoring and controlling. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was in charge. I am in charge of doing the goals and metrics and basically measuring how we're doing.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So I have monitoring and controlling. as you're doing that, and that actually, like the end of all your monitoring and controlling should end on 10/22. So, and that would be the second progress report right there. And then I actually have our project closeout for completion on 11/17. So that's final project report, final project presentation, and being complete on the 17th of November. Everybody still good with that end date?
I would probably separate that out because our presentation we're shooting for the 17th, but we want to be wrapped up with all of our documentation and everything a couple of days prior so that we can do some dry runs. So I would separate those.
Yep. So right now it's dependent on our progress reports being done. They're all kind of linked in together because we all got to have our closing documents turned into you, Greg, before you can actually do anything with them.
Now, Damon, on project, do you actually have the tasks hinged to one another?
I do. I have them all linked to each other right there. When you get it open, I have a total of six categories, and they're all broken down into subcategories, and they're all linked in generally right now until I can get some feedback on it. That's about the best I could do, but it's some place to start.
Got it. All right. Okay, everyone good with timelines so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, let's move right along.
Do you want me to, real quick, put the November date as the end project date on the charter? Or do you want me to put the October date?
No, that's for the entire project. That's like presentation and write-ups and everything. But I think the actual, so I copied, I don't know if everyone saw, I copied the charter into the Google Drive, and I just changed the date to an artificial October 15th date that we had mentioned before in this conference call. And because not everyone has reviewed the timeline yet, I expect that date to change. I expect that's a very fluid date, and it will get refined over the next week or so as we become more comfortable in the roles that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. If we can have all our everything done by November 17th, would be wonderful, because I mean that just gives us our final presentations due December 5th.
Yeah, but our goal for our final presentation, I believe, is the 17th, with a fallback to the 19th.
Yes, exactly. Yep, with some leeway there.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
So we've kind of jumped around a little bit according to the agenda, so some of this is redundant. The next one we have is review preliminary contact lists.
We didn't ever go to the goals yet.
Oh, well, thank you. I will turn the time over to you, Greg. You run with it.
I opened up the spreadsheet you sent out, and I think a lot of it is very relevant, but some of it isn't. So I copied and pasted a lot of the information into a new sheet into our drive, just labeled Group 1 Project Goals. And I needed to clarify some of the numbers because you have a major total at the very end on line 23 on the original spreadsheet. But then there's a separate totals right underneath that. And I
on 23,
would like to use, yes, sorry.
On 23 is a subset of the kind of shaded green area between line 12 and 22.
Okay. So are we taking the same sample size to compare directly to these numbers?
We are actually smaller this year than we are last year. We have fewer resources this year than we have last year. So if we were to duplicate goals, I imagine we will fall short.
Okay.
I would probably write up goals that says, we have 25% less resources, so therefore our goals are 75% of what last year was.
Okay, so I have
Hello,
new
Stan.
spreadsheet that I kind of copied and pasted some of the subset
Rita.
of the goals that could be changed and modified.
Not too bad. Hold on just 1 second, Rita.
It would be just an issue of comparing them correctly so we can actually measure our success this year.
Yep. And I think that yours, let's see, I'm looking at the copied one right now.
The one that I created?
Yep, and I think that that exactly is what we want. I actually, so as far as the organization is involved, they're not looking to measure pounds of food this year. So we don't need to keep track of that. We can just do number of people involved, number of businesses donated, hours donated, and then the completed within schedule and keep the money on there. Other than that, I think that we can get rid of the pounds of food.
Okay.
What
we could other things could we add to measure our success? I kind of just threw some examples down at the bottom, kind of just a little list of how we could measure.
Yeah, I also think we need to add in there a goal of 100% of food pantries in the area being supplied with something. Because last year, I know at least one food pantry was completely skipped during Feed Ohio.
Okay. 100% of food pantries actually get something?
Yes. And then I would say on top of that, 75%, and I can add this one. 75% of food donated comes from local resources.
Okay.
And I'm adding the word immediate because they're all local.
Did that update on your copy? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I just had to click off of the cell. All right, anyone else have any suggestions for metrics for different goals that we could measure to see how to measure this as a success?
I think number of people is probably the best way to go.
Yep.
Number of volunteers.
Yeah, number of volunteers.
Do you want me to like keep track of how many businesses I've contacted and
yes.
how many?
Yep, I think that we ought to have a number of businesses contacted and number of businesses participating. And if we give a rough estimate for the number of people who donated, that would be even better.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot easier on everyone if we just keep a good detailed number of people you contacted, successful contacts, people you missed, kind of just keep a general number of how to measure our success, and that if we have the numbers, we'll be able to do that a lot easier.
And Greg, I just wrote you a note just to say how many bags were distributed so that you have that, because that's a metric that I had. And then there were 11 people at the initial meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rebecca, how do you want me to let you know who's willing to, who we need to drop bags off to and that kind of thing? Do you want me to have it in an Excel sheet or something for you, or just email you when I have some people for pickup, or how do you want me to do that?
Yep, you can kind of leave it up to them because they've done drives and everything before. They may have resources and not need bags. Especially if they're just sending their employees to, or sending an email to employees to have them bring stuff in, the employees will usually bring it in some type of container, even if it's like a plastic grocery bag, and then we could just go and pick it up at a designated time.
Yeah, and I know we're still working on a designated time, but are you thinking that last Saturday in the month for pickup?
I'm thinking Saturdays throughout the month, because one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to have the food pantries kind of lacking for things because everyone's doing Feed Ohio, and then all of a sudden get inundated and have to have additional volunteers to come and help them stock everything. So if we could do Saturdays throughout the month, my schedule's pretty flexible. So if they need to have a pickup during business hours, I can do that. I just need to know, a couple of days in advance, and then I can work out the time.
Okay, so when we're talking to these individuals or businesses, just kind of work with their schedule and see how long they would like to collect food for, but basically try to leave it to like maybe a week's time with them.
What I would do is I kind of leave it up to them and say, you know, we're looking to get local community businesses involved in the Feed Ohio project. We'd love to have IGS's support. If you'd be willing to send out an email to your employees, we'd be happy to designate a time to come pick it up. And it's up to you if you want to do a one-day with all employees. You encourage all employees to bring in food. If you want to do a week-long, or even if you want to do a month-long project, we're happy to help and facilitate the transportation between your offices and the food pantries. We can go through the Chamber of Commerce if you'd like. You know, give them the options and let them know that we're just here to help them to contribute to their own community.
All right. So we just need to get our charter loaded up, and then once the team contract's written up and then loaded up, we're all just going to jump on the Google Drive and just sign it individually.
So I have the charter already up on the Google Drive. It's shared, so everyone can go there and see that. Right now it's there.
Project, it's named Project Charter.
It's called, I know it's a charter something, Project Charter, yes sir.
Another thing I think we should throw out is a naming convention on our files, because sometimes it's getting to look a little confusing, but...
Well, and I don't know if you noticed, I started creating directories so that we could segment things a little bit better. I'd like to continue that if everyone's on board. I don't know if we want to designate maybe Holly to be kind of the master of the files and put things where they should go. I don't know if anyone else would like to volunteer. Holly, your name was just the first one to come to mind, so please don't feel picked on.
You're good. I'm just trying to get my computer to work, so I don't know where I don't have the Google X project, whatever, downloaded yet. I might not be the best.
Got it. And I'm happy to do it. It's very easy for me to do it because everything's set up already. But I am still not finding the actual contract. So currently I'm in the Google, excuse me, I'm in the Canvas files.
I see Angela loaded up a team contract in our Google Drive.
Yeah, she's got that posted out, and I've got it pulled up. We just need to sign it, I guess.
So I sent it out to each one of you. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know why I can't do it to the shared drive.
Oh yeah, team contract looks.
Did you find it?
Looks all good there. So we can edit this and it will save changes right to it, won't it?
Yeah, I'm not seeing our directory. I see most of our documents. I see the charter that I put in. I see the business case. I see the map. I see goals, but I'm not seeing the contract.
See, I don't know why some people can see it, because I just saw that Damon just signed off on it. So he
can you share it with my Rebecca Call at Gmail again, and then I'll make sure it's in the directory?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing it in the directory, so.
Yeah, and I looked through all of the different...
Where did it go? Yeah, boy, we're getting a lot of paperwork in here.
Yep.
Okay, I just sent it to you, Rebecca. Do you see it now? Looks like Holly's in it right now, too. Can you see it, Holly?
Okay, I got it, Angela.
Okay.
Okay, did it take my edit too?
I see. Let's see. I'm gonna.
I got into it.
I'm pulling it up again. Yes, it saved my edit. So you can go right on that Google Drive and everybody just sign a date to it. Call it signed off.
Where at on Google Drive?
I'll move it into the same directory.
Yeah, I had to go into recent. And I was able to find it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just wait until it's in the directory.
I've got it pulled up and it won't let me edit, Angela.
I wonder if I need to.
Once I move it, everybody will have access.
Oh, group contact.
Alright, let me pull up this. What's our next things due?
Does someone want to volunteer to clean up this drive and like
I've already
create
started.
folders?
I've already started to. I don't know if you saw me. I've moved
Yeah.
files.
Yeah, a lot of stuff moved.
Okay, refresh.
And then if anybody wants to add anything to it, like I said, I just left it pretty generic. We can be a little more specific to the project if you want for the team contract.
So we probably need to talk about action items for our next meeting.
Yeah, I'm just getting this moved so that everybody can see it and everybody has editing rights.
Action items would be, so set up a total goal of everybody probably to come back with and have some concrete information like, hey, I've contacted 30 people this week, 15 of them have said that they're willing to donate. Maybe just because we need to come up with the progress report coming up shortly after that too. So that would be like a main action item that I would think that we need and that I mean that's what I think I'm going to be doing and then if everybody could get projects downloaded and look at that schedule and just send me a text on Google Chat or whatever, and we can all kind of just brainstorm because we can look at everybody's conversation throughout the whole time. Doesn't matter your schedule.
So do you know, Damon, it says to download, it's going to download Office 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to mess up any versions of Office that you already have loaded on your computer?
It'll probably overwrite.
Well, it also said that notice basically said that as soon as you're done with the course, it basically goes inactive and you'll lose files.
Oh, well, Greg, I'll get you another link, okay? Because
you shouldn't lose files. That's an application, and so your files would just be disassociated from the application.
I don't want to lose because I have Office 2010 on my PC right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to reinstall that because I don't have the information.
So if you go to this link right here.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And you guys can download 2016 Office. So it's not a trial version. It's not a web upload. That's what I just did. I had Office 2010 prior to just doing this, and it's working just fine. Go to the education area. I think that link will take you right there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
This is through the VU, right?
Well, it will. So you click on that tab that says check eligibility.
I'm looking at students.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Scroll down.
Let me go back. Check eligibility, yeah.
All right, and then the new tab will open up. And type in your school email address.
Okay, it's still pulling it up.
So where are you guys posting these links to do that?
Right in the chat.
If you have your little icons on the left-hand side, if it's not active, you can go to the little top one that has the blue box over the gray box.
All right.
This is just 2016 Office. It's not going to have.
It's not going to have
projects
in it, but that link I sent you earlier, that you use a different email address for that link I showed you earlier, and you can get the trial version of projects.
Okay. Because I posted that link up. If you look on the chat side, the second one down, the portal.office.com. That's the link that you sent to me, Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, the Office 365, I think that everyone will find a way to get it in their own way. So some of them will go Office 365, others, I'll just download Project because I have everything else that's recently updated.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'll keep. I think that everyone can figure out their own system so far as that goes.
Yep.
All right, so should we move right along into, I think, our last item now that I've actually closed that document. All right, list of action items from the meeting. So to recap, I think that we have some good direction as far as those people who are contacting businesses to focus more on the larger businesses. Just Google them. If you can find that they look bigger, then go forward. If they look like a mom and pop shop, then I would probably cross them off the list, or at least leave them for later if we're not getting enough traction on the ones that appear larger. Faith-based organizations, I think, are going to be relatively smooth. There are a lot of them, but I think most of them are going to be receptive, and most of them are probably already going to be doing something. So I think that they would come off our list relatively quickly. And then we already heard the plan on educational institutions, and I think that's a great plan. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns on the actual contacting of businesses and whatnot?
No, I think I'm good for the faith-based. I'll start getting a list put together this week and making some contacts.
I'll send the links to Holly on where to find the lists of businesses on the Chamber of Commerce, and I'll just plan on doing alphabetically like we had decided for the bigger businesses.
All right. Do you ladies want to do that offline?
Yeah, that we can get together offline and do that.
All right. That sounds good. And then, I'll move forward on documentation. I finished cleaning up the initial run of the Google Drive, and so that's at least a little bit more understandable. Greg, is it you who is doing metrics?
Yeah.
So you have your own directory right now. I just moved that in. I imagine that will get larger and larger. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep a document like where we put the comments on the spreadsheet that you're currently working on. I don't think it would be a bad idea to get a separate document that's just kind of a rough draft of if we have different numbers that we want to send to you up front, like my distribution of bags, or Holly, if you have, today I contacted 4 businesses, or whatever you guys want to do that's just kind of a working
So like a log?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Greg, if you want to create something like that, just give us an idea as to how you'd like to receive that information, because essentially if you're going to be working from it, you need to be able to understand it. So if you want to give us rules as to how to treat that, then we will absolutely abide by those.
All right, I can do that.
All right.
Oh, all right. Are we going to try to keep track of our man hours? It seems like reading through the Ohio's website there that they were really interested in wondering how many man hours we're all spending on this sort of thing.
I think that would be a great idea, and I think that goes into Greg's metrics with not only the number of people are involved, but also the hours for the volunteer effort. So
perfect.
If people want to document those within whatever document Greg decides to put up on the drive, then that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's my understanding that we have a few different action items, mostly just follow-up from last week, a little bit more refined because now we actually know what we're doing, and that we already have our next week's meeting scheduled for Tuesday, September 13th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Daylight Time. I don't even know which one we're in right now. But does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything before we adjourn?
I think we've covered everything, and then for our meeting minutes, is there going to be a paper written up on this?
I just have a couple of minutes down just at the bottom of the current agenda. If anyone wants to send me what their goal is for this week as far as their marching orders and whatnot, I'll incorporate those into the minutes and draft those and put them in the drive.
Okay.
All right.
So for
Looks
this week's assignment, determine the project charter. Did anybody volunteer to submit that? I can if nobody else wants to.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I've got it pulled up. I've been filling it off our first initial charter, so I can go ahead and do that.
Yep, I think that Holly, if you want to run with that, I think that would be great.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So does everyone see on the 9/6 meeting agenda that we have within the Google Drive, the Angela, I see you're on it right now. The notes in the bottom, if you just want to add what you're going to be working on this week, then I'll translate those into action items, put them in the chart, and then draft next week's agenda and get that posted in the next day or two.
All right.
Yep. Okay.
Sounds good.
I think we're good too. Hey Rebecca, what city are you living in on this map?
I live in Dublin.
Dublin.
Yep.
And you got contacts pretty much all around there?
I sure do.
Alrighty then.
All
Perfect.
right. Well, if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm usually pretty easy to get a hold of. Most of you have experienced that so far, but if you have any questions, whatever, feel free to reach out.
Okay.
All right. You have a
Otherwise,
good night.
I will talk to everyone in a week.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
Sounds
sounds
good.
good.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right. And
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. And Leslie, were you working
Yeah.
on what businesses were you working on?
I'm doing faith-based organizations.
Faith-based, and then Angela and Holly were doing businesses.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
doing business contacts starting with letter N through Z, and then Holly was going to do A through M.
All right.
are we supposed to post this recorded meeting anywhere, like our first meeting, or is it just going to be?
We'll have
Just
record
check.
of it, so if we need to
Yeah.
post it, then
Okay,
paste in a link.
that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thank you,
All right.
gentlemen.
Have a good
And
week.
Angela, you're still on the call. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.